And stop picking these skins, man.
Let me even sit in, bruv.
Let me get into
Your philosophical bag, you know, intellectual bag as well. Yeah.
It's an intellectual posture, mate.
So this is issue 9, my bro.
Issue 9.
Yeah,
bro, you
man.
waited all this long, fam. Hey, if you got me in the double-digit feature, I'd have been pissed, you know. I'd have been 10 plus.
You are officially the 3rd guest, man.
3rd guest. Oh,
yeah,
are the rest of the 6 you?
Nah, so there's So 6 of the episodes have been myself. I've had Oscar was my first guest, so my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, Francois yesterday, it was good still, I can't lie, it's very interesting. Francois yesterday was my 2nd guest. That was nice, that was good. And yeah, bro, you happen to be my 3rd one still.
Lovely, nice.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you for having me, mate.
Come on, man, let's go. Just a little intro for those that don't know, yeah. Carlos,
correct.
You are, of the group, you are officially the finance bro.
Sorry like that. Sorry like that.
You are not, bro. You're moving now. You're also a model. How is that, bro? How's the modeling experience?
I mean, what can I say, man? It's just money talks, mate. I mean, money talks. So, I mean, to be fair, it was just Brian just asked me to do him the favor. Yeah. And I thought, you know what, like, why not? Like, you know, when I was younger, I remember I used to think like, if somebody tried to pick me up one day off the street and be like, bro, you're not model for me, like, hands down, I would have said yes. Like, the only thing is that I never thought about the logistics, the meticulous details of how that would be. Because me, I'm not really one for like doing posing on camera. Like, I don't really do the selfie stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's not.
But you're not even an Instagrammer like that.
Yeah, I'm not. So that's why it's like, to me, it's just like, if you're gonna get me to do hella like weird and wonderful things, I might have to be a bit like, like, let me think this thing type thing. But it was a calm one. Like, it was calm. It was best. Like, just take a couple pictures, had to act a little bit. I was doing a bit of acting as well. I wasn't just limited to modeling, bro. I get tested, bro. I'm a bit of a double threat in that sense, mate. You know what I'm saying? But it was cool, man. It was lit, and it was a very new experience, and I enjoyed it. I've never done it before. You get to meet different people in that scene. I see why creatives love chilling with other creatives and meeting other creatives. It's a very, like, you see, to me, it has a lot of novelty. I'm new to that space, but it's just cool to meet people, man. Like, people that are just blessed, like, people are just on vibes, and you know, like, it's
to like
nice
see different ideas, different perspectives, and like
I'm not really in that source. As you said, I'm a corporate finance bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really mixed too much. But yeah, no, it was fun.
Maybe in the wrong field, man. Maybe in the wrong field.
I might be, man. I might be.
Who knows, innit? Who knows? Bro, there was something that flipping should have said before we started, but I'll say it now anyway. It doesn't matter. This was I laid out some ground rules with Francois before we got started, innit? Right. But the ground rules are not more so restrictions; they're more so doors that you can like open and go down. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I don't want you to fear speaking the truth, and like, no matter how blunt or how like absurd or how fearful you might be of getting cancelled, for example, for some of the things that you say, like, bro, just feel free to navigate that avenue. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to sit here and not be honest and truthful. You know what I mean? If there's an opinion that you have that's like a strong opinion, bro, go for it. You know what I mean? And on top of that, like, the same way I'll ask you questions, bro, just ask me whatever's on your mind. Like, anything that like pops up, no matter how small or silly it might be, just ask it, bro. You know what I mean? Cool, that's how conversations like get rolling. That's how things get started, and you know, you can explore some crazy shit.
For sure. Alright, cool. Before we kick off, there was something that crossed my mind as you started speaking, but I didn't want to interrupt you. But you know how we were speaking about the whole creative? Yeah. It'd be cool to see you in your bag on that one, because I feel like you have a lot to offer.
In the creative aspect.
Yeah, you have a lot to offer to the creative world, in my opinion. I feel like, I don't know, mate, maybe you stepping in, even if it's dipping a little toe, it could change the scene forever, mate. So it'd be nice to eventually see you, even if it might be mixed with a lot of capitalism, which right now I know you're not feeling, because but at the same time, you know, greatness, it'll be greatness nonetheless, bro.
You know what, bro? Like, I feel like a lot of people do say that, yeah. A lot of people do tell me that, yeah, you should be like going on the creative aspect and the creative avenue. So I guess I got two questions for you in it, because I don't not to say that I don't see myself as a creative type. I don't see myself as the person that can go down that avenue. But I see myself having a different place in that avenue. So like, where would you like to see me go down creatively though?
I'd say I feel like you express it both with like in terms of, so actually I was doing rock climbing with Seb yesterday, and a friend of Seb's that climbs, he came with us as well. And this guy, he reminded me a lot of you, bro. And the reason why I say it is because he's an old soul. So like bro, for some reason they were just running hella like 60s and 70s music in the flipping climbing. That's what I'm saying. Look, so you're already getting guessed off the bat. And like, so they're running that, and bro was just singing along to the lyrics. And I was like, bro, like, how old are you? And he was like, I'm 23. I was like, bro, you're moving like you're 60. Like, the guy just knew so many songs, and then on top of that, he was telling me how he went to like a car show, and how like what's it called again? There's like a big car show that's like quite well known, and then I don't know. Anyway, it's like hella classical cars.
Oh, like them, like a car show where it's like just bare different classic cars and they just parade them and stuff. And
then so he said that they pulled up in the Toyota Century or some shit, which is like like a Rolls Royce or S-Class equivalent of the Toyota, like where it's like luxury and spaciousness, and then he's saying how he wants to buy like one I forgot what car it was, but it might have been like a Buick or so like anyway, just and I could really just see, and then he was telling me how he does like Polaroid, like he had the thing, he was taking shots like a Polaroid, and like the way he was just chatting to me, I could grasp like his appreciation for the things, for the like down to the details, and and to me that like I even told him, I was like, bro, this guy reminds me of Juan right now, like and I feel like that's what gives you guys like a bit more of that creative that you guys just like naturally just having it. Like to me, I feel like that's probably that intertwines with it. I feel like it is a bit of a weird one, because I'd say like, even though I'd say I'm more of an analytical, and I'd say that I've heavily been influenced to believe that based on like my numerical background and just my kind of like I just feel like I have a very logically oriented, like step-by-step systematic mindset when it comes to things, right? An analytical approach. But then I compare myself to you, and I know that you know maths as well. Obviously, we're not exactly the same, but we both had the interest there for it. And I feel like people that tend to study maths tend to have like that type of approach on things, like
logical approach.
Because maths tends to be very
like...
exactly, because maths doesn't tend to, like, you can have certain types of like
creative freedom.
It's a lot more like limited in maths,
like an explorative freedom. That's you can't create, but you can explore, like so like proof, for example. You can explore like why 1 + 1 = 2, but you can't like paint a picture though. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's like an explorative freedom. It's like you can explore ideas and you can explore the logic behind ideas. Is that what you're trying to go down?
Like with maths?
Yeah, like what you're trying to make, the point that you're trying to make right now.
Yeah, in the sense, it's more the sense of like, there's not so much space for, I guess, like interpretation in. You see what I'm saying? Within maths, it's more just like this and this means this and this.
Yeah,
or
like this
whatever
income
it is.
has that outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, as I was saying, I feel like my kind of interest in maths, and I guess maths, because maths was like my first love, and I'll be real, like I used to eat maths, bro. In school, I used to love it, and that's one thing that kind of like led me to believe that I was heavily just very analytical, as opposed to, because they say there's two types, and there's creative and there's what's that one?
I don't know, bro. I need to figure that one out for myself. I don't know, man.
I said it.
Try and find it on your phone if you can't figure it out, innit?
I'm trying, because there's okay, I don't know if this is a myth or if I've been lied to, but then they said that some people use their left side, like
some people are like more dominant in the left hemisphere and others are more dominant on the right.
Yeah,
and depending on the dominance, it's like one's creative, one's more like, I think it might just be logical. I don't know, but try and find it. Try find what each hemisphere is like the primary traits of it are, in it. But I think you are right though. I think I have heard something about that. I think I have seen something about that. Don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, the left hemisphere of the brain is typically associated with logic, language, and critical thinking, while the brain's right hemisphere focuses on creativity, emotion, and imagination. All right, so how does that tie into what I was trying to say again? So yeah, so anyway, because I reckon, and I guess that even proves that we both have, sorry, that all of us have both to an extent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like some just probably lean more into certain things than others. However, I do think that it's something that with, like, if it's not like natural and innate, like where it's just like kind of seen like on a very superficial level. Like let's say, like for example, as I say, let's say with the clothing, like it's very super, like as in
Yeah,
like I can gauge your interest in it from just looking at like a glance at you, and I
yeah,
can
yeah,
just see it's
yeah.
there and and oh wait, hold on, why was I saying this? Bro, I have a terrible memory.
You
What?
know what's crazy? I find that like doing this, sitting down and like
Yeah.
speaking and articulating my thoughts helps me to like, or at least it's helped me realize that at first when I started doing it, I found it hard to come right back around to my point. But now it's like now that I've been doing it a bit more, it's like like, now I can tie the first bits into the second bits and then into the last point that I was trying to make. But it takes a while though. I get
it does, because you get like lost in like in what you're
brain
saying,
fart.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
and then you forget about what you're originally
yeah.
intending to say. But yeah, sorry. And the point is to bring it back is that I remember when I started doing. I had an initiative called Finsider, which you managed to take the piss.
Insider.
But yeah, so with that, when I started doing that, I started like going into a bit more of like I started doing like a little podcast with friends. That was, I guess, like not really entirely new to me. I guess it is content creation. I don't know if someone would call it being like, I don't know. I guess you are creative because you're creating
Yeah,
content.
yeah, for sure.
But I didn't really see it as being anything too far out of the scope of what I was naturally used to. I mean, I like to meet new people, I like to engage in conversation, etc. So to me, it's like we're just getting to meet people and then kind of tapping into their knowledge and mindset, etc. And then just trying to help other people via that content. But then I started like doing a bit of the social media side, and started making like posts and stuff. And then that's where I realized like creativeness, like at times it might not be so kind of like in your face, but I feel like if you work on it, you can to extents develop it. Yeah, like you can develop. I guess it's like in a way it's like a muscle. Like you can
That
work on
was
it.
that was something that I was thinking about when you was talking about how people have the capability of both sides of the hemisphere in it, and like how some people might lean more towards one side, might lean more towards the other. I think if you're more on the logical side, you can use logic to become creative.
Okay.
So like critical thinkers, logical people, and people that are just very like methodical in a way.
Right.
Yeah. So part of creativity is consistency. This is something that I've tried to explore, tried to understand in it, because there's a lot of people that are just like, no, man, I write when I'm inspired. How often do you actually get inspired? How often do you just like scratching your balls in bed ever get a thought? It's like, boom, I can write a song right now. Like, yo, like I can, you know what I mean? How often does that actually happen? But I think with consistency, if you consistently try to write a song, if you consistently try to like design clothing, if you consistently try to paint pictures, the creativity starts coming in with that. And I think polishing those skills allows you to be a lot more creative. So you can use one side to curate, or at least to like polish the skills of the other side. I don't know if it works the other way around, if you can use creativity to be a lot more logical and like methodical. Maybe you can. I don't know, because that's not me, innit?
I reckon you can.
I reckon you can, but yeah, I don't know, man. You probably could, innit? But I find that like part of being creative and part of like having that explorative nature when it comes to ideas or whatever it might be comes from being very methodical and logical about it too. So you have to have like a plan. You have to have like a I don't know, like a discipline to stay consistent. And consistency isn't creative. Consistency is more logical and methodical. You know what I mean? But yeah, I hope that kind of.
No, that does make sense, and I reckon that kind of runs true for everything. Though. I feel like, bro, anything that you do, the more you study, the more knowledge you pick up. The more you go to gym, the stronger well, facts. Not necessarily stronger, but whatever you're aiming for in the gym, it'll become. The more effort you pour into a relationship, the more that you should have like a fruitful relationship.
Yeah,
like facts. I feel like that's pretty much like like in a way like a rule, isn't it? Like a given, like anything that you put more time into, typically the better that you tend to become at what it is that you're doing.
I guess that's what sets apart successful creatives to just like your bang normal or like average creatives.
It's interesting that you
know what I
mentioned that
mean?
because I was gonna bring something up, but go on.
Yeah, so like successful creatives are the ones that are like consistent with their work. You might every now and again get the exception that's like, nah, bro, I just write when I'm inspired, and like it just bangs, and it happens to bang for them because maybe I don't know, like maybe they just got some superpower, or they're, I don't know, like maybe they're just fortunate, lucky, or like whatever it might be. But like 9 out of 10 times, the successful creatives, they trump than just like the bang average normal people that try to be creative because they're consistent. They are not just, they don't just have the ability to be like good at what they do, but they have the ability to, or the discipline rather, to be consistent in what they do. And that consistency allows them to like polish their skills a lot better, allows them to be a lot more like just on the gun, you know what I mean, with everything that they do, bro. And that's what I think that's what sets them apart.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was just gonna mention the point of nature versus nurture in a way, and just be like which one do you reckon has more like kind of impact in a way? But I guess, as you said, I guess it always ties back to consistency. Like you can have like nature, and in the sense of like just being good, like just inherently having a good like a skill or a talent for something. But let's be honest, like someone that's putting in work to try and do the same thing as you, they're gonna, like, you might have a couple great ideas, but in the amount of time that they spend trying to like pour into the craft that they're looking to embody, they'll probably come across a lot more good ideas, even though to you might come quickly, but then they'll eventually come across either like those ideas or something of a similar caliber with the amount of time that they're dedicating to it.
Yeah, facts. No, I agree with you still. I agree with you, man. So then, on that subject, what's next for you, bro?
What's next for me? That's
what's your next big idea, bro? What you got cooking?
My next big idea is our money, baby. And you know what? You know what's funny? Well, like lately, I've come across a bit of a crossroads, mate. And
is it?
Yeah, obviously metaphorically speaking. Because lately, like I have kind of thought, like a whole load of stuff has just been like kind of like crossing my mind in ways, and making me think, like what would you like? How do you actually want to live your life? And recently I was telling my girl that like before I have kids, I definitely want to have had done a lot more things for myself before I didn't have to go and like kind of having to worry about others so much. And obviously kids are a big responsibility, so it's not to be taken lightly. But I was telling her that I want to go and travel for like at least have like a 6-month period where I just travel and then go and like do a lot of things for me, really, because I definitely don't feel like I've traveled enough. But then there's this, I guess there's an opportunity that I'm hoping will come along to work with a friend of mine in sales that is looking very, very like prosperous, and it's looking like a great kind of venture to be on.
So if like both presented themselves, what you picking?
So that's the thing, man. It's like it's a tough one because I feel like so the one with my friend, that's pretty much like, I don't want to say it's a certain, but it's like fairly, let me say fairly certain that's gonna start to happen. But then in terms of what I make of that opportunity, that's where kind of like what is to be seen, and how I'm gonna like capitalize on that. But I feel like if I do well with that given opportunity, and based on how the setup of what he's telling me is gonna be like, that work or those foundations that I lay within the coming, like, I don't know, a year or two of being there, it will bear fruits for like hopefully after I'm gone too. So then it could mean that I do traveling in a more like financially birdy state, if that makes sense, where I won't have to be so worried, or money won't be the key determinant that's like got me out there feeling like, oh, like I know, because you know when you just know there's a timer in it, like, you know that it's like, okay, like money can only last me for X period of time, eventually I'm gonna have to come back and do this and do that. And if I'm honest with you, like I do, like one thing about the traveling is that I feel like it's a double edged sword, isn't it? But that uncertainty can bring like a lot of like joy and happiness, or like it's that kind of intrigue for the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then there's also the flip side of like, okay, if I leave here, when I do come back, because I'm probably gonna come back at some point, especially because I have a girl here. Like I can't, like now I have to think for two. I can't
Did you
just
go
think for
traveling
one.
with her?
Yeah, I would take her, but like it'd have to be like it wouldn't be for every
Periodically.
it wouldn't be it wouldn't be for all types of travel because she's a bit of a bougie babe, so like she's not just gonna be on doing the backpacking stuff, and that's the only thing
That's where the adventure is, though, bro. The backpacking stuff, man.
And the thing is, I'm trying to understand it in the sense of like I wanna have done it, kind of thing, because I haven't done it yet. But then for her, it's like knowing how my girl is. Like as of for right now, the chances of her doing it are slim, which is why I'm probably gonna want to go by myself because I'm not gonna want to go with her and then have that headache of having to conform to like what she like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do it in a certain way, and I'm not trying to do 5-star hotel every night. I can't do 5-star hotel every night.
You're trying to be greedy, bro. Sweaty bunk beds with like 12 people in one.
Bro, I mean, it also sounds so glamorous now that you fit that way.
No, I'm joking. No, it's not like that though, bro, man. Everyone, like your own private little bed is like your own little space, and even though you share the room with other people, you just still feel like this is my own little. You know what I mean? You feel like this is my own little box, man. And it's calm, bro. It's clean anyway, man. Unless you go to like some real like
scary joint, nah.
Yeah. But no, it's calm, man. Take it from me, yeah, and take it from my experience. Because like I can only give you my experience, and my experience is not representative for everybody else who does it, but maybe you can take something from it. Do it alone, man. Like genuinely, do it alone, bro, because like you say, you won't have that like tether to somebody else, and you won't have that like you won't have that little thought in the back of your head where it's like, oh, but I really want to do this, but I just don't know if I can though, because I got to think about the person that's beside me in it. And sometimes it's a good thing because it stops you maybe from doing something that's just better wild and wacky and like risky. But then at the same time, it's not, because then you stop yourself from doing something that you would like to do. And not to say that you would project that negatively outwards, but there's a chance that can happen if you keep doing that to yourself. If you keep like prohibiting yourself from doing what you want to do just because there's somebody else next to you. So if you do think about like traveling with your partner, do it. Like, go for it, bro. Travel with your partner, but just I think it's important to have your own separate space and your own separate time. You know what I mean? So that you can do what you want to do, she can do what like she wants to do, because y'all ain't gonna agree on absolutely everything. Like you literally just said it now, but you'd want to go maybe stay at a hostel. You want to maybe have like a bit of a backpacker experience, not do 5-star all the time. Maybe she doesn't, innit? So then if you're not doing what you actually want to do, you're kind of not being honest with yourself, innit? And the more and more you do that, the worse and worse and worse. Because that's what I experienced when I was out there. Like, I don't know, man. Look at how it ended for me, innit? Look at how it ended.
You're right.
And I think it wasn't also just that like kind of messed it all up for me, but yeah, that's like one of the main things, though, innit? Because you just want to be able to do something, or like you just want to be able to like have your own adventure. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, there's just that little thing that's I really want to do this, but I can't though. I can't. And I guess for now it's cool though, because you lot ain't married yet. You lot are still like in a relationship phase where you're still like really getting to know each other on a deeper level, and like there's no, it sounds harsh, but there's no like real commitment to marriage. So I'm not saying go out there and like, bro, just do your thing and be a slag or whatever. No, I'm saying it more so on the front where it's like you are still entitled to your own free time, your own space, your own privacy, your own like, I don't know, time for Carlos type thing. You know what I mean? Like you lot ain't one just yet because you're not married. You don't have that level of commitment. So bro, whilst you still have that, therefore go for it, man. Therefore like do your side of things. You know what I mean? But just like, obviously don't go crazy and do some dumb shit that you'll regret later on. But yeah, man, that's my 2 pence on the whole thing, man. Because luckily for me, I had both experiences. I had the experience to do it with a partner and the experience to do it without. And sucks to say, and if you're listening, I am sorry, but like I enjoyed it a lot more when I was by myself. And I'm pretty sure she did too, bro. I'm pretty sure she did too. And why? Because you got your own it's your own rules. It's your own your own timing. It's your own desires, and you do what you want to do, bro. And there's no tethers to nothing, bro. And it's just you have a better time that way. You have a much better time that way.
I can believe it. I can believe it. Unless you and your partner are one and the same in the sense of you love the same. But then what are the chances? Let's be real.
Yeah, man. No two people are the same, innit? And yeah, man.
Not entirely. But I guess for me it's just coming down to I do definitely want to do that. To be fair, a friend of mine is gonna go Philippines end of this year, and he said to come along. But obviously, that's not a solo trip. That's me tagging along with him. But Asia,
I'd even recommend the same with a friend, bro. If you're gonna go with a friend, have your own space as well, man.
Thing is, he's gonna be out there for 2 months, 2 or 3 months, I think. But I'm only gonna be there for probably 2 max 3 weeks. So I'll try and see if I can get any alone time. That should be alright.
Are you thinking of going? Yeah.
Yeah, I do think I want to go, man. I feel like Asia, it's about time. There's only so much, and it's funny because today I was going on to my sister because my sister she invests in everything and she has money, and well, not money like that, but she has savings account, and she has emergency fund, and she has a bank account, then she has stocks and shit. You know what I'm saying? She has money in different places, yeah. And then today I got onto her, what did I say to her? Because she was telling me how she wanted a certain amount in her emergency fund, and then she was like, oh yeah, she was like, oh, I want to buy something, and I was like, oh yeah, no, just don't worry, just wait until you have 200K in your emergency fund. And then in a way, I was like, I just realized now, in saying that, it's bro, giving yourself a number sometimes to before you can do stuff, in a way it kind of shoots you down, and I feel it's the thing is, everybody knows that the process is the process and that you should enjoy along the way. But I feel like it's very easy to forget things sometimes. You can know stuff, but you can just very easily forget.
What do you mean by that though? Forget things?
As in sometimes you can get so sucked into the process in terms of what you're doing, i.e. your job or grind or business, whatever it is, that sometimes you forget that you have a whole life to live in it, that you have family, that you have relationships to take care of, etc. And I feel you kind of let time fly by and kind of get the best of you, and then by the time you realize that you've kind of passed up on these things that you feel like you wanted to do, then you're just oh shit, time's really just kind of flipped on me now.
But then does that not highlight the importance of really knowing the end goal that you're aiming towards, type thing? Because if, let's say for example, and this is one of the main reasons why I don't agree with putting money as your number one priority anymore, because you say, some people get so caught up in the process, they forget that they actually have a life outside of what they're currently doing, or there is a life that you can have currently outside of what you're doing. So if you are wise and pick your end goal correctly, then maybe the process that takes you towards that end goal can be a lot different, and that process can be something that you genuinely enjoy, and you look back at and say, you know what, I had so much fun doing that, or I did not feel like I wasted any moments of my time whilst I was doing any of that, and you don't end up regretting it. And then that way you don't have to think there's a life outside of what I'm currently doing. And I feel like people who, or I've experienced this myself too, putting money first, over everything, made me feel that way, that bro, everything that I'm doing, all these sacrifices that I'm making just to have a bit of money in my pocket, it kind of takes me away from what life should actually be. You know what I mean? It takes me away from enjoying life and living life to the fullest type thing, right? And that's why now more than ever, I really appreciate, or I can really appreciate picking your goal wisely, because then your process doesn't have to make you feel that way. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Okay, so give me an example with you being
so before I went traveling, the goal was to earn money and just pay off my debt and then save up as much money as I could make. So I had my normal job, which was a sales job. And then on top of that, I was cleaning afterwards every day, Monday to Friday. Go to work, come home, have a bit of food, off to work again. Get home at like 8, 9 o'clock. Probably too tired to go gym, so I wasn't going gym.
Sorry, a question. Sorry, I don't wanna interrupt this one, but I don't know if we can pick up back on it after. If I don't know how you prefer to do it, but I'd want to ask you why you kind of opted to have a secondary job when because sales is very much
I know exactly what this question
so
is.
like, but I don't know how you want to do it. I'll answer it now, answer it after.
I'll answer it now, innit? I opted to have a second job because where I currently was in my sales job, in terms of targets, like I wasn't reaching them. Do you get it? And I was at a point in my sales job where it's like I can't be bothered to be putting in the adequate effort to meet targets to be able to earn enough commission so that I don't have to work the second job. Because my manager went through this with me too. Because I told my manager that I had a second job. He was like, bro, you know, technically you're not allowed to have a second job whilst you work here. But I don't care. He's like, I don't care. Because me and him are brethren, isn't it? He was like, I don't care. Like, just do it. Don't tell no one. But like, he was like, bro, why don't you just focus more on trying to earn your commission rather than having a second job? But I knew I had tapped out already, bro. I had tapped out already from that sales job. And I knew that no matter how much I would try to tell myself, put in the effort to get that commission, I was lying to myself, bro. I didn't actually want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was making, Michael, by the way, if you're hearing this, it is what it is. You probably know yourself anyway, but I was making like 100 like dud calls every day, bro. I was calling numbers that I knew wouldn't pick up. I was calling numbers that like sometimes I knew wouldn't even go through, just because like I had to meet my quota of 100 calls a day. And not to say that was enough to keep me in a job, but like in a way I could kind of just get away with it a little bit, and I didn't have to like stress myself so much about going in and like reaching commission because I had tapped out, bro. And for me, it was like, I need to find another way of making bread. So let me just get a second job instead. At least that way I know that I'm going to be earning more and I don't have to rely on like commission just in case.
Okay, all right.
Do you get what I'm saying? It was more like let me just do this because it's a fixed sum and I know I'm going to get extra.
Okay, yeah.
Rather than putting in the effort and not knowing that I'm going to get extra out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
But that was like, that was like towards the end of my sales career, or my tenure now. But yeah, going back to the point that I was making though about like changing my goals, changing my target, and now like my process is a lot different. Back then, bro, like my goal, my target was to save up a specific amount of money so that I could go traveling for a specific amount of time and like be calm and be cushy, you know what I mean? So in doing so, my process was again waking up early in the morning, going to work, coming back home, and then coming back home, eating, leaving again to go work, cleaning, coming back at like 9 p.m. and then I probably just got about enough energy to build a spliff and then just chill for the rest of the
evening. Like any medicinal kind of what's it called? Medicinal ventures alongside, but okay.
Yeah, no, it was literally just that, bro, and that was my life, man. And I had that feeling, bro, every day, like. Every day it was more. It became a thing. It was like, bro, I could enjoy a spliff. It was I could do it with a spliff. You know what I mean? I could do it with a little Zobi right now. Because
so it was never I need.
It became that basically, bro. It became that basically. It was because I was just so stressed out. Like I was just so like exhausted, bro. And on top of having the money issues to worry about, and on top of like really working hard to get that money, things were rocky back at home too, bro. Like my partner and stuff, and it was, bro, it sucked, fam. You know what I mean? It actually sucked, bro. It actually sucked. And I would think to myself, bro, like there is a life outside of this. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there. I don't know like what that's gonna entail, but I know there's a life outside of this. And the only thing that really kept me going was the fact that I knew I was gonna be on the other side of the world, just enjoying my time afterwards. That's the only thing that kept me going. But bro, like I was miserable, bro. Or like at least I wasn't myself and I wasn't happy, and like I got called grumpy all the flipping time, bro. Like my coaster upstairs that I got for a gift says Juancho, Mr. Grumpy. You know what I mean? Like, that's just you know what I mean, bro. So like it was it wasn't great, man. And I had that feeling where it was like, yo, like, there's a life outside of this, man. Like, there really is a life outside of this. But now on the flip side, that I've come back from traveling, I've had so much time for myself now, and I've really like got deep into just like everything that I feel like I was necessary to go deep into and question everything that I was doing, to the point where I was questioning like, is what I'm doing even like okay, bro? Is what I'm doing even worth it? Is what I'm doing like the right thing, for example? And the answer to that was no, bro, because everything that I would do would be based around trying to earn money. And it would just always come down to that same thing where it's just like, oh, here we go again. I just got to put in so much work and so much grind, and it's just gonna be so long and like be worth it in the end, brother, whatever it is. And yeah, bro, that's when I decided like, nah, man, I can't continue doing that, bro. I need to figure something else out. I need to figure something else out. I need to figure something else out. And don't know, bro. Just listening to people like Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, reading books as well, bro. Reading bare books and especially the Bible too, and like the guests that Rogan would have on his podcast, and not just that, yeah, but even witnessing, for example, like sporting moments, like when you see your favorite team winning a trophy, and you just see like the players stood on the pitch, for example, looking into the crowd, and even they're in disbelief, and the crowd's just cheering back at them, and they just stood in an arena like gladiators, bro. And to me, it's inspiring because they don't do that for money, bro. Like, that's what they do it for. You know what I mean? They do it for the glory, bro. They do it because that's the shit that gets them going, bro. And that's what they enjoy, fam. You know what I mean? And so the process then isn't so daunting. The process isn't so like tough, and the process isn't one of those processes where you get so sucked in that you forget there's a life outside of this. And if you do, well, at least you know you're enjoying that process, though, bro. You're not like in that process just grueling every day, fam. You know what I mean? So now I do things a lot differently, bro. I do things because I genuinely want to do them. I do things because I have an interest in it. And I do things because, like, I don't know, this is just something that I want to try and have fun with. Do you get it? So, like, the podcast, I do it because I enjoy sitting down and having conversations. You know me, bro. Like, we can sit down and chat for yonks, bro. And not just with yourself, but with like-minded individuals like you, like myself. I would like to think that I'm quite, open and exploring, open to exploring ideas and stuff. And like, I just always like asking questions, bro. I always like learning and being inquisitive and just like figuring out, or like, I don't know, just finding something new to be amazed by, you know what I mean? And that's what I enjoy. So that's why I'd rather do this, and I'd rather get sucked into the process of recording all the time, being in my room, editing all the time, and like messing around with the creative aspect of this all the time, because at least getting sucked into that process, I can enjoy it, and I don't have to think to myself, there's a life outside of this, because this is the life that I want to be in. You know what I mean? This is the life that I actually want to be in. And I think 9 out of 10 times, the people that you see doing that, yeah, everything else just starts to prosper around them. And I'm not saying that like I'm doing this with a double intention that money's gonna come out of it at the other side. I'm doing it because I genuinely enjoy it. And if that so happens to be the case, great, fam. You know what I mean? Great. And that's even something that's spoken about in the Bible, bro. When God's telling you like oh ye of little faith, like why do you care so much about what you're gonna wear and what you're gonna eat? He's like, do I not feed the birds that like fly around all day long and like don't have the same worries as you? But you're worth more than a bird, innit? So it's like, don't worry about what you're gonna eat and what you're gonna wear. And he's not telling you that literally, bro, but he's just saying like, do what you enjoy, fam, and the rest will come in abundance, bro. The rest will come in abundance, and it's only a matter of time. Because he also told you need to hang on and do it for a while and like cling on, and you know what I mean. Like, don't lose faith and don't lose hope, because that's also part of the test of like whether you're even in a way. I don't want to say the word worthy of what God should give you type thing, but it's along those lines. You know what I mean? Because if you start something and you don't adhere to it, or you don't cling on to it because at the first hurdle you just kind of fall and wither away, then are you really worth like the rewards that God has for you? You know what I'm trying to see? And to be fair, yeah, like I said, I didn't want to go down that avenue and say it like that, but I think that's how it is, because even in the Bible, God says it like that. When Jesus comes out with the parables about like the seeds that some land on good soil, some land on concrete, some land on like the thorn bushes, and some just like whatever. It's that idea, bro. The ones that land on the thorn bushes, they get choked up and they wither away. Those are the people that like at the first hurdle, or like are told what they need to be doing and just don't do it. The ones that land on concrete and it sprouts and then eventually just gets roasted by the sun and birds come to eat it. Those are the ones that listen, do it for a little bit, and at the first hurdle, they fail and they flop. And then the ones that land on good soil, the ones that like prosper, the ones that like, reap what they sow, bro. And those are the ones that like really like hang on to it, bro.
They embrace it. They embrace the journey, bro.
They embrace the journey, and any obstacle that comes their way, they're still there, bro. They're still there. So yeah, man, that's what I think, bro. Now that I've changed my goals, now that I've changed like my targets that I want to aim at, I don't mind getting lost in that process because I don't need to think that there's a life outside of this. That's the life that I want to be in.
Okay. All
You
right,
know
cool.
what
All
I mean?
right. All right, but let me throw a little spanner, mate, because
Spanner in the
a
works.
little
Yeah, yeah,
spanner
go on, go
always
on.
always helps. Um, Plus, I also do like to play devil's advocate sometimes. Like, oftentimes, I don't tend to be concurring with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
opposing party. You know what I'm saying? I like to get people similar. But anyway, so now, like, throwing a practical element of such things, right? So let's say, because obviously, there will be a point where I don't know, you might want to move out, or you might like get to a certain point where you feel like you need X or you need Y in your life.
Yeah,
Like, you just
facts.
feel like you outgrown your current conditions. Yeah. So let's say if what you were previously doing is kind of like comes into jeopardy based on the fact that like new circumstances and the financial kind of hurdles that come with those circumstances, how would you feel like, or how would you like to feel like you would approach or deal with that?
I don't know, man. It's tough. These are hypotheticals that I'm not in right now. Well, I say that maybe I am, but I think there comes a point, bro, where when you're doing something and it's just really not working and it's not meant to be for you, I think there does come a point where like you kind of know that, and you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like the same way that internal voice tells you to like maybe try this or maybe like go down this avenue and explore this idea or this venture. That same voice is the one that tells you, you know what, I've tried it. My brother, this ain't for you. You know what I mean? I think it's time that like you've learned everything that you had to learn from this. It's time that you move on now, innit? So until I get to that point, I can't really say that like I'd give up and just now end my process and just go back to the old habit of working for money just so that I can be financially stable or just so that I can live this life that like the system tells you need to live or imposes upon you, right? But with that being said, like if I don't have that feeling where it's like I need to give this up and move on, there's always like an answer to things, in it. There's a will, right? That's where that saying
Mm-hmm.
comes from. So if I have to pick up a part-time job, I'll pick up a part-time job. If I have to pick up even a full-time job, like I'd pick up a full-time job and still do what I'm doing on the side. But I'd still be very conscious of the jobs that I'm doing or the things that I'll be picking up. Because I wouldn't want to pick up something that I don't want to be doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm pretty sure there's jobs out there that like you could be like, oh, I'll do this. I don't mind doing it because I know I'll probably enjoy it. So it doesn't feel like it's such a daunting task. It doesn't feel like it's such a like weight on your shoulders when you go do it. You know what I mean? So if that does become the case, that like, yo, I need to pick up something full time. I need to pick up something just so that I can have an extra bit on the side or whatever it is, so I can keep going. Then so be it, bro. But I'll just be like very conscious of what it is that I pick up. I wouldn't want to pick up something that I don't want to do just for the sake of earning money.
Because like the reason why I ask is because I've had not this exact conversation with a lot of people, but there's always like I've like people, well, in speaking to certain people, there's always been the idea of like a lot, if only people could do what they genuinely love, then they'll be much happier, but they'll be much broker at the same time. Like in places like London, it's like, I don't know, you might want to be a, you know, like a, I don't know, you might want to work with in a zoo as a zookeeper, or wherever it is. Like there's certain thing, like everybody has their own little kind of interest, but obviously some just don't happen to pay as much as others, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then some people tend to, because like let's be real, like life isn't cheap, and especially if you have children, and now you like have to go and pay for like a like 2 3 bedroom flat, or you have to pay for rent or whatever it is. Like,
Mm,
you might not be able to sustain a certain like lifestyle. And when I say lifestyle, I'm not even trying to say like keeping up with the Joneses type lifestyle. I'm just saying like it might be like genuinely kind of hard for you to even do like provide all the kind of basics, and to a good like quality standard, right?
mm.
Where you have a job that's like not really kind of giving you like an adequate financial amount, then it's like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I asked, just because I do feel like that question always comes into play. Because let's be real, like, you being practical, you like life has many facets to it, and
Yeah.
and I feel like it would be great if we could all just work out our ideal jobs, and we'll get like compensated handsomely for it. That would be lovely, but fortunately, it's not the case. And I'm not trying to dash you a Debbie Downer, mate. That's not, you know, that's not what I'm on.
No, I get the point they're trying to make.
But I'm just like that element of caution. I mean, it can be a bit jarring because, like, you never know, bro. It could be the kind of like for some people, they throw in the tub like just when they had a few picks left to get to the diamonds or whatever it was, and that's like I can't lie. But at that point, if you've given so much, and if you've known that you've given so much, then you might as well continue. But as you said, this like in terms of that voice, how much of that voice is kind of like, I guess, like everybody's voice is different. Like some people are a bit more like high risk, some people are a bit more cautious. Like, you know, like everybody has a different voice, and like for some it benefits them, for others, like, you know, like we all know maybe people that might be doing things like years down the line, and they're like, all right, they're still doing that, and like, you know, like it might not have yielded off what they expected, except like, do you know what I'm saying? But that's why I just kind of thought, all right, let me just question on that side of things too, and just see what he thinks on that. But
hold that thought though, because there's a rabbit hole to go down. That exact thought that you had, but I need to go to the toilet.
Yeah, I need to go to the toilet as well. Man. Come, should we pause it here?
Yeah, pause it here, and then we'll come back to that thought. Right. So where were we?
Eesh.
Get a blanket out of me and some pillows,
man,
you know
cuddle up.
Stop playing footsie. Yeah, so where was we? The whole idea, I was thinking about this whilst I was in the toilet as well. The idea that like you still see people that like are doing what they say that they enjoy, and like there's not really bearing fruits of their labor, and like you're just like, wow, you're still doing this, and it's like not really working for you, and it's like, I don't get it why, but they say they're enjoying it. Is that the point? That was the point that you're trying to make, right?
Yeah, I guess
everyone's voice is different and tells them to do different things, but they don't yield the same results.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess that I feel like, I guess I kind of know what you're gonna say to that, in terms of the like, it depends on what your goal is. Like some people will be more financially driven, some people will be more like, I do this because I genuinely enjoy it, even though I might not be the richest, or I might not be the most successful in my field. Like, I guess.
No, I was gonna go down like a whole different.
Go on.
Avenue, innit? Look, man, I'm not entirely sure about how life works. You know what I mean? I think this is probably one of the biggest questions I ever asked myself, bro. Like, just what is life? Like, why are we here? What's our purpose? Like, how does this actually work? You know?
Yeah.
But there are a few things that, like, not that I know, and not that I know of for certain, or not that like I know are concrete or whatever, but for sure they work though. Do you know what I mean? Like there's living proof of like it just working 9 out of 10 times. And I think to those people who say that the voice inside them, like they just listen to it and they do certain things, and like things ain't working out for them. I don't know how much they actually do listen to that voice inside them. I think a lot of it can boil down to like pride, ego. So like when you're doing something and you know that like this is not for you, but your pride doesn't let you let go of it, and you continue going down that path, and you tell yourself and you lie to yourself, you say, yeah, this is what I want to be doing, this is for me, like you tell everyone around you. Maybe that's one reason why it doesn't yield results, because it's not meant for you, bro. And another one is, if it is meant for you, like you gotta ask yourself, am I actually doing this to 100% of my capabilities? And if the answer is no, then maybe you'll find that like that's the bit that's different, fam. That's the bit that's missing. You know what I mean? And I think the people that can actually listen to themselves and listen to themselves successfully, that's like a whole different chat, bro. That's like a whole different avenue to go down. And I think that's an aspect of life that has been taken out of our society nowadays. And I think that comes down to like a spiritual side of living, bro. Because for me, just my like one thing that I've been playing around with the idea that like there's two separate elements to life. There's two separate elements to our state of being. One is the physical world that we live in, and the other one is like a conscious world, a world that's like it's not tangible. You can't touch it. You can't pick things up in this world. You can't physically see yourself in this world, but it exists, and it's that world of like consciousness, that thought, like psyche type. You know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like this is where religion gets misinterpreted because when they talk about spirituality, that's that parallel that they speak about. That's that parallel world that they speak about. I don't think it's more so like spirituality in terms of are you praying every day?
Right.
Are you, I don't know, going church every Sunday? Like if you are, then you're feeding your spiritual soul, and that's great. I don't think that's what like. Yeah, I don't. I think that's where that's where the lines get blurred a little bit. But I think it's more so like, are you the same way nurturing your physical body in the physical world? Are you doing the same thing with your like spiritual body in the spiritual world? And that's what they try to. That's how they try. That's like probably the best way for them to describe it, spiritual, because it's almost like a fantasy place that doesn't exist. Like I don't know, like spirits exist there, ghosts exist there, innit? And I think because that world has been taken out of society and our lives in general, we're so distant from that. And because we're so distant from that, even just little things like listening to that voice inside of you, because that's where that voice exists. It exists in that parallel world, that parallel universe, like that spiritual world. You find it hard to even hear it, let alone be guided by it and listen to it. And being guided by it, like what is it? And you could argue that it is God. Like, that's how God speaks to you, bro. That's that little voice that's inside of you, and that's why the Bible is so heavy on nurturing your spiritual self. But that's taken like out from everything. You know what I mean? Everything about this world is so physical and it's so materialistic. You only have time to focus on that.
But then, okay, I don't want to get another spanner, but if that voice is good, then why do people sin? Because then surely that wouldn't be like it wouldn't be God's voice inside of you.
Because you have free will, bro. God gave you free will. God doesn't tell you I'm gonna control your life.
But isn't that voice that we have? Isn't that more like that voice that we have? Isn't that like the desire in a way? It's not like us, like you know what I'm saying. Like it's not really us. Like to me, anyways. I feel like that voice is kind of like it's in a way it's like something like it's what is amplified that's like going on subconsciously in ourselves based on like I don't know like our
how can I describe this voice to you so that like
because it's not like we produce in a way like the voice just kind of comes.
I get what you're saying, but yeah, do you never have like moments where a thought comes to your head and like you just can't you can't brush away that thought no matter how much you try? Maybe it's a thought that you don't want to think about, but like you just can't brush it away no matter how much you try.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Like what is it that compels you to think about that thought? What is it that like puts that thought in your head? I understand that you put a voice on that thought, you articulate that thought for yourself, like you give it its own characteristic, and that's you being able to like I don't know, in a way, hear it and understand it. But like, what is it that keeps putting that thought in your head? Like, for example, let's say you're keeping a diet, and then today all of a sudden you just have a cake with custard, and then like 5 minutes later you just feel guilt, and in your head there's a voice that's like you shouldn't have done that, man. And then half an hour later, when you still try not to think about it, you still hear that voice, and you still feel guilty, and you still feel like there's someone inside you telling you like you shouldn't have done that, bro. Like why did you go against what you were trying to do? And like even though you're the one that's putting the voice on that thought, like it's God that keeps that thought there for you, no matter how much you try to brush it under the carpet. Do you know what I'm saying? And it works the same way with like sometimes impulses, sometimes ideas that just come to you, like sometimes little seeds that get planted in your mind, and then it's like you start going down and thinking about avenues, because that voice sometimes is so faint and sometimes it's so like quick, and it always tends to be the very first thought that comes to your mind. That like whatever happens in the situation. So like for example, let's say let's say your brethren's getting in a fight, your first initial thought will be break up the fight. And then the thoughts that come after that is I want to bang this guy in his face, bro. I want to beat him up with my brethren. And which one, realistically, which one's good, bro? The first thought that's like, I'm going to split this up. But because we find it so hard to listen to those thoughts and those impulses, because we find it so hard to even just like live in that world, that parallel universe, like I say, that's why we reason with logic so much. And that's why reasoning with logic doesn't really do you any favors, like quite a lot of the time. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's logic is different that they reason with. Everyone's voice tells them different things to different people. So, like, for example, in that instance where your voice might tell you separate the two, my voice, the first one, might be back your boy and get involved and like, you know, I'm defending. You know what I mean? Or another example could be like, I don't know, the instance of a diet again. Like, let's say, for example, I'm dieting, but I'm not keeping a strict diet. I'll give myself like the benefit of that. But you're giving yourself a strict diet because that's what you feel like you should be doing. Your voice would be like, "Don't pick up that cake." My voice would be like, "You know what? You've had a good week. Enjoy the cake." Everyone's voice is different to them. It's an individual thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's why like religion is very heavy. If you really read the Bible, it's very heavy on like individualism. Like everything is tailored for you. Worry about like what's for you. Don't worry about what's for next man and what he's doing, because what's for him is for him. You know what I mean? That's what God gave him. What God given you is for you. It's different. That's why there's that that verse that Jesus says in the Bible in Matthew where it's narrow, where it's wide and easy is the path to destruction, and narrow and thin is the path that leads you to life, or like allows you to enter heaven's gates, whatever it is, isn't it? And it's not because narrow and hard is like a difficultness in keeping doctrine, religious doctrine. It's because it's narrow because it only fits one person, and it's hard to follow because it's for you. And sometimes listening to that innate voice that's inside you and being yourself and being an individual is so much more harder than just following the crowd. That's why that path that leads to destruction is wide and easy, because one, everyone can walk down that path, and two, it's easy because it's so easy for you to just go follow what another man's doing. But if that's not meant for you, it's only going to lead to your destruction. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's one.
A good comment. That's a very good comment.
I think that's probably like one of the biggest things that like going like bringing it back around full circle to that point where it's like, why are people still doing what they're doing if it's not giving like, if it's not really like, I don't know, giving them the means to live. Maybe it's because they're not actually listening to that voice inside them, or maybe they are, but they're not doing it properly how they should be doing it. You know what I mean? And I genuinely think, bro, that like if you do listen to that voice and you finally get to the point where it's like, I am now doing what was meant for me, there's no reason for why you shouldn't be living comfortably. I'm not saying like comfortably in terms of enough money where you can buy yourself a Ferrari and get what you want and blah 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 blah. No, when I say comfortably, it's comfortably by your means, bro. What's comfortable for you? If comfortable for you is being able to pay for a 3-bedroom flat for your family, have enough money to put food on the table every day, and enough money to clothe your children in humble clothing, and you don't need anything else more than that, you're living comfortably. You know what I mean? But if comfortable you, on the other hand, might be, I like my little expenses every now and again. I like to have a nice car. I like to go on a holiday. I like to be adventurous because that's what's in my soul and that's what's in my nature. Then maybe when you find what's for you, that's what that life will eventually come and give you. You know what I mean? But it's all about, I think it is all about following that voice that's inside you, bro, because everyone has a purpose, bro. I'm a big believer in that, bro. Everyone has a purpose. 9 out of 10 times, that purpose should be to serve the people that are around you. But what's unique to you is, how am I doing that? How am I serving the people that's around me? You know what I mean? And when you finally clock that on, and when you finally get to a point where it's like, right, this is how I'm supposed to be serving the people that's around me, I think that's when things really start falling into place, and like everything comes in abundance. That's God's promise to you, bro. You will get everything in abundance. You know what I'm saying? But it's very easy to get to a point of abundance and then get greedy and corrupted.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what comes with it.
It's a very thin line there.
Yeah, it's a very thin line. That's what comes with it if you're not careful, man. But I do think everyone's purpose is how can I serve the people that are around me, whether that's like your tight community, just your family, or like your friends as well, or an extended community. Like for example, musicians and singers that have a global reach. Those are the people that are around them. So how can they serve them? You know what I mean?
Mm. It's a good point. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. Fair enough. So it is true. I guess that voice is like at times it's for the good, other times for the worse, like or for the better, or for the worse. Um, and you can like yeah, you sometimes yeah find yourself thinking like why am I having this thought or like why would I just randomly have that thought or whatever it is. But then I guess yeah, the free will is what dictates whether or not you get upon it or not.
Yeah, that's why you have free will, man. Because the whole idea is that like I'm giving you all of this, but you got to figure it out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't just give you this and then just like spoon feed you everything. You know what I mean? Like, you got to figure this out, bro.
It's a good point. It's a good point. But yeah, so you asked me what's next for me. What's next for you, man? What's on the horizons for you? And don't say let me say in like Thailand. Nah, joking, I'm joking. You can say Thailand if you
What's
want.
next for me, man? You know what? I think I'm done in the big smoke, bro.
Hmm?
I think I'm over like London, bro. London's the big smoke, innit? That's its nickname, the big smoke.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I think my time in the big smoke is almost over, man. I'm being
Serious?
honest
When
with
you
you.
say almost over, like what do you mean
Yeah,
by that?
man.
What do you mean by that?
I think genuinely, bro, I would love to leave London and just like go move to a different country, man. I
Okay.
feel like traveling really opened my eyes to different possibilities and just different ways of living. And I think I gravitate a lot more towards living in communities that are a lot more cohesive and welcoming and people that genuinely want to have you around. Not to say that like you don't want me to be around or like my other friends don't want me to be around, but I just mean like the people you coexist with, man. Like when I was out in Southeast Asia, bro, everywhere you go, people are so happy, people are so welcoming, people are so like selfless and giving, and they're always willing to help. Fair enough, there are the people that like are doing that because they want something in return. But bro, like I also experienced the other side of it where people just do that because that's how they are, man. And it sucks to say, but London has taken that out of everyone. London's not like that anymore, man. And I think the only places you'll find that in London are council blocks where people don't have enough, so they have to help each other out. And even then, bro, most council blocks are all becoming privatized because people are buying the individual flats and selling them. So the people that live there ain't no more poor families, bro. They're all like middle class working people that can actually afford the private rent prices in those areas. And again, I have nothing against those people, bro. Like I think they can live the life that they want to live, and if they're happy doing that, then who am I to tell them differently? But for me, I don't want to live in a community, bro, where you don't even know your neighbor. And in the summer, you have to keep the door closed because you're scared that like someone's gonna come in. You know what I mean? I want to live in a place where like I don't have to worry so much about materialistic things because if I don't have, my brother does and he'll share it with me, or my neighbor doesn't even know me but he'll share it with me. You know what I mean? And I also don't want to be in a city no more, man. I want to be out in the nature.
Okay.
I really want to be out in the nature, man. And bro, if I'm being honest with you, I want to start learning how to like grow my own fruit and veg. I want to start learning how to like grow some herbs. I want to start, you know what I mean? Like I want to have my own little fruit trees and stuff. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and go step out on like nature's ground with my bare feet, bro. You know what I mean? Little coffee in my hand, carrot on the other one. You know what I mean, bro? That's some Bugs Bunny, fam. Yeah, bro. I think that's what's next for me. So I think my time here in the Big Smoke is almost over, man. Not to say that I won't ever come back, bro. London's got a special place in my heart. You know what I mean? Man grew up here. Like a lot of things I figured out in London.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I owe a lot to this place, but at the same time, like I don't have to be here just because I owe a lot to it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And I think the world is your oyster, bro. You should never be limited to just what's at arm's reach. There's no reason for why, you know, if you want to move, move. So yeah, I think that's what's next for me. Where I'm gonna go, man, I say to myself Colombia and Thailand because genuinely that's what I feel. I want to be back and forth between the two, innit? But, figure out what God has for me, bro, man. That's the target that I'm reaching for. But like, if I end up not hitting it and hitting another target, and so be it, bro.
So be it. Okay,
You know what I
cool,
mean?
fair
So be
enough.
it, bro.
Well, a question I have for you: when you're in Thailand, like let's say you were to you go in Thailand next week and you're planning to at least stay there for a year. What would be your plan? How would you like? What would you do? Because for as much as Thailand is beautiful and amazing, like it won't really be on a holiday type
No,
vibe that you'll be going there. And so, like,
no.
how would you be navigating in Thailand?
I'd have to pick a place in Thailand where I'd be happy to stay for a while.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that would mean nature, not too much noise. Could probably be an island, even though
Mm.
islands do tend to be noisy, but they all have their quiet parts. You know what I mean? And hopefully by then I have trading figured out, so I can at least sustain myself a little bit, God willing. You know what I mean?
Digital nomad.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. No, but I think I'd be out there like really trying to figure out what the next step is. And I always said to myself, man, I'd love to open up a little cafe in Thailand, yeah. And I already know what kind of vibe it will be.
Okay.
And I don't want to give too much away just in case.
Yeah, I don't have to see you in person.
Yeah.
Mm.
But bro, I'd love to do that, bro. I'd genuinely love to do that because as something as simple as a calf, you can give so much back to people if you do it correctly. If you do it so correctly, bro, you can give so much back. And not just to the people that enter and visit, but to the locals that might need a bit of work. You know what I mean?
Mm. Good point. No.
Yeah, man. And I do have this like weird concept in my head where it's like, how can I open up a calf, run the business, and like as much as possible not charge people for just being there and having coffee. Sounds crazy, innit?
At all.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. Like I've always thought to myself, what if there's another way of trading, just not with money?
Mm.
And it sounds nuts. It does sound nuts because it's like, well, no, how are you gonna run that place? Because money runs everything, yeah. But like, I have thought to myself, like, I wonder if there is a way that I can open up a cafe, and with the people who can't afford it, let's say for example the locals, let's trade something else, man, and you can happily stay here and have what you want. Whether that be like, give me half an hour of your time to sit down and speak to you about some stuff, or whether that be like, are you growing fruit and veg in your back garden? Man, I need some peppers for like breakfast tomorrow, man. Bring me some peppers and I'll give you a little coffee. You know what I mean? Well, I'll give you breakfast today. You know what I'm trying to say? Like a different form of trading.
Yeah, I hear you. I just feel like I can't the practical element of that would
Yeah,
be
the practical element is tough.
because it's like how many peppers, how many eggs like you need for like a couple of days, and it's like, but I do like I genuinely like that concept. However, this is why once again coming back to capitalism, I like wealth because I feel like with wealth you can be very self sufficient in many sense. It's very self sufficient and sharing as well. You know what I'm saying? Like or like yeah, like kind of selfless, give to others what they might need without being reliant. Because I feel like that's where the issue comes into play. Like you might be very given and you like, and that's great, but it's like to what end in the sense of like how selfless are you gonna be in comparison to what others are gonna kind of like this the love that others are gonna show you like do you see what I'm saying like how fair would those like kind of like arrangements be like if you give them like their like breakfast and coffee and then just give you a couple of peppers back in return like do you know like that's why I do feel like there's gonna have to be maybe a more practical element to it unless you have the wealth where you're just like okay like I don't need to I'm not relying on them I don't mind it being a thing where like I give them all this and they give me like something smaller.
Well, look, I don't know, man. It was just a thought that I had in it, and I do think to myself that like it would be possible if I did have the wealth where I didn't really care about like whether I gave someone a whole breakfast and they just gave me like 2 tomatoes and a pepper. You know what I mean? If that was the case where I had that kind of like wealth, God gave me an abundance like that, and I can provide that sort of service to people, then yeah, of course, bro. Like it's not like I'm opening up to make money. You know what I mean? I'm opening up because I want to give back to people. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, bro. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Man's not there yet. You know what I mean? I'm still sat in the back of my garden, bro, recording podcasts. You know what I'm saying? So when I get to that bridge, I'll cross it. You know what I mean? But it's just like a thought. It's an idea that I had. It just came to me where it was like, bro, like if money doesn't actually mean everything to you, how can you give people a service where you don't actually have to charge them? You know what I mean? Where like you look could trade something different that's maybe a bit more invaluable than what money can give. Something more than just a monetary number. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, bro, I'll cross that bridge when I get there, man. I don't know how it will happen, but if God wants it to work, bro, it'll work. At least I gotta try, you know. If I don't try, I'll never find out how it's possible.
That's a good point. To be fair, as long as you like, I read in the book, or I think I just saw a quote from him. Some investor called, or value investor called Monish Pabrai. He just said, as long as I have my mental health, like I'm good. Like I can always go again. Like so, to be fair, bro, as long as you have that, and I feel like you do need to follow like I guess that voice because I guess it is a
man.
voice in your head that you have, and I feel like you wouldn't be doing yourself justice, and on your deathbed you'd probably be like you'd probably feel betrayed by yourself had you not
100%,
had you not
bro.
like
That's
given it an opportunity. Point. So I do feel like these are like you do need to hear what that voice is telling you and just attempt it because and so many times in attempting things, as you said, like you might come across like another path which you didn't realize. Like you might have had the original path, but then you might stray from it in a direction that you're more comfortable.
And then it's a new direction, it's a new path, and it's a new bro. And I think that's a good point that you make, bro. You don't wanna be on your deathbed, sorry, feeling betrayed by yourself because you didn't do the things that you genuinely wanted to do, man. And I think having that, listening to that voice inside of you, and not knowing what the outcome is gonna be, is where the greatest adventures in life lie.
It's true. Exhilarating, man. Like, but that's the thing. I guess a lot of us are scared, and a lot of us stay in this kind of like rat race, as they like to call it, because it's like to us it's certainty. To us, it provides like a stability. Whereas,
but that's what like this world here, this society here, tells you that you need. And I'm not trying to come on like some hippie bullshit. I'm telling you, bro, like go to a forest and like make your own life out there. You know what I mean? But as in like. I don't think it's okay for everyone to feel so obliged to stay here and live the life that like capitalism tells you need to live. And I'm not saying become a communist. I'm just saying like explore for yourself. Bro. You know what I mean? And I don't think that people, if even if they don't feel obliged to stay here, should feel so trapped by what this society can only offer you. Bro. Because life is so much. Again, bro, life is so much more than just trying to get a better job every year and trying to earn more money every year. It's so much more than that, bro. And life becomes boring and predictable when you can control all of the outcomes.
Big facts, bro. Big facts.
You want to have an adventure. People crave that, bro. People crave some sort of stimulus, fam. You know what I mean? And like, how can you have that if you know that what you're gonna do is gonna have this outcome and it's like there's no unpredictability about that gives you that like yo I don't know what's gonna happen but I'm excited to see what's gonna happen, you know what I mean? That's I don't know, man. That's kind of like what I want to experience. And bro, you know what's so crazy is that like if you just walk down the road or like just look around you, bro, as you're in the city, I think a lot of people have let go of that.
Let go of what?
That like just doing things to see what happens. I have no clue of what's gonna happen. You speak to most adults and it's like, no, I can't go do that because then I don't know what's gonna happen. Or I can't do that because then X and Y is gonna happen and that's not good. I need to be working, I need to be earning my money so that I know I can pay for my bills, so that I know I can, you know what I mean? So that I know I can do this, so I know I can do that. And like most of them are not that happy. Most of them always want more. Most of them always feel like there's a part of their life missing. Most of them always feel, I don't know, just like very limited by what they choose to be trapped by and enclosed by. You know what I mean? That's why you get bad Karens around.
You know you're finding excitement in putting on other people's parties.
That's it, bro.
They might see others having fun.
Whereas I feel like if you always have that like unpredictability factor in your life, or that adventurous factor in your life, where it's like, I'm gonna try something new and I wanna see what comes out of this. Maybe you won't feel as like dull, or you won't feel as though like something's missing. You won't feel as though like just another day in the office. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. I can't trying to escape that. Like even the mental matrix in a way. It's like it is a tough one, bro. Because I feel like we are quite in a way in cities groomed to believe that like we need to get into good jobs and or like once we're in a stable position, have kids, and then once we have kids, like you still need to continue to work, if not harder, to then give them a better life. And it's like there's always more and more and more that's like kind of required from like living this type of life. Like initially it's like we I don't know, I want a car, and then it's a house. Like the goals start getting like bigger and more ambitious, and then but then with the more ambitious they get, the more you're trapped into this, because it's like you know how it is, bro. When you feel like you want something, like in ways that your subconscious tries to work to acquire it, and and that's just a given like rule. Like how I said earlier about you study if you want to become smart. Like everything, like whatever direction you head in, like if you're working on something, you are gonna gravitate more towards that objective eventually. At some point, like you will be moving closer to that. So it's the same way that with this life that we live, it's like it can be very like if you allow yourself to get too kind of sucked in and like you make a lot of materialistic things, like big attachments or goals, then it can be very easy to kind of allow yourself to then be trapped into a lifestyle, because now it's like I have to pay for this kind of thing. I have to pay for this car. I have to pay for this mortgage. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose it. And it's like, come on now, like, why would you get a mortgage if you don't intend on like you have to have a conversation with yourself. Like, how are you gonna just get, like, obviously things can change, and I feel like when we don't tend to be the same person forever. Like some people don't change a lot. Other people can change a lot. And for those that change a lot, I might realize something new. It's never too late. I feel like you can always change your situation, as I said earlier, as long as you have that mental health, or as long as you want something, you're always at will or freedom to go and chase it. I just feel like you have to just be intentional about how you live life in certain ways.
That's it, bro.
So like if you want, like there's always I feel like there's always more ways to do it than what most people make it seem or make it out to be. And I feel like people are just so trapped in this. Oh, I have to do this because if not, then as you said earlier, And I feel like that's definitely a myth. And I feel like no, it's funny. I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day. I forgot who it was, and we were talking about women. Oh yeah, about how so like women that we've met can a lot of the time be like risk averse, right? And they're more just like on the kind of safer side of things. They might not want to like take certain risks or whatever in comparison to us. And like I guess that kind of ties in here, because it's like, well, obviously not, sorry, I shouldn't generalize. That's like the woman that we were referring to explicitly, you know. We might have to edit this out because no, well, all right, this is just, but I do feel like generally men,
you have to say it how it is. Generally that's how it is.
Yeah, generally I feel like men are more the risk takers. Generally men, we feel like, I mean, it's natural, right? We're the ones that take the, like biologically though, like, bro, we're the ones that we're the ones that kind of go and try and court women. Like we're the ones that take the risk with that. We're the ones that we have to try and provide for our family. So what do? We take the risk typically with the, like, obviously depending on the relationship. Like nowadays things are a bit different, but like biologically that's how we were built, right? That the man was the
we're just more physically adept to fight.
Yeah. There's that, I guess, which gives us an advantage. But even like, okay, I guess in modern day society,
I don't mean physically like just fight, but I mean like we're more adapt to, like, you know what I mean, like really give it our all out there, bro.
Oh yeah,
go like head on with everything.
Yeah. Like I guess even down to the hormones, like men and women are different, and we produce a lot more testosterone, and that gives us a lot more. That's that makes us want to do certain things, and with that can come a lot of impulsiveness, can come a lot of ambition. And as a result you get men that are ambitious, but then you get big kind of like dreams, but typically big dreams tend to be very can be very risky, innit? Like
like for
sure. You to, I don't know, want to buy a lovely big car that you're paying a K on finance on because you want that. It's like, fair enough, if you want that, you want that. But then I came on finance, like on a cart, I could like put the rest of your finances into question. Like, you see what I'm saying? Whereas,
but that's why many women though, and that's
yeah,
why many men,
it
you know
does,
what I mean?
it does humble us a lot. But yeah, like I guess there's like the same way that there typically tends to be a bit of a disparity. I'd say typically, but obviously take that pinch of salt because like every individual is different. But it's the same way that I feel like in the city there tends to be that prejudice towards people that are just very engrossed in the process, as we spoke about earlier, and they're very much just eyes on the prize, and like their subconscious is in a way like kind of not giving them certain options as an option because they need to achieve
You
X
know,
bar.
so yeah, I'm glad you brought it back around to that point as well, because there was something that like occurred to me while she was speaking about this, right?
Yeah.
And cities only offer you one thing,
Right.
or they only offer you one goal that you can aim towards in general, not always, but in general. And that goal tends to be like some sort of like financial goal. Yeah.
Okay.
So whether that is to get a better job to earn better money, or to be driving around in a nicer car than everybody else, or to have a nicer apartment, or to have a nicer house, to always be aspiring to have more. Yeah. Most goals tend to be materialistic, which has to involve some sort of finance. And by human nature, we tend to enjoy the process more than we do when we attain the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whilst you're working hard towards getting a better car, you enjoy it. Well, not to say that you probably enjoy working harder. Sorry, not to say that you probably enjoy working hard to get the car, but you probably enjoyed that part of the process, or probably like felt a bit more alive in that process than you do once you have the car and you're driving around in it. So that's probably why there's that never-ending loop of once you attain something, that's it, I'm on to the next one. And that's why you probably feel like you never have enough. And that's why you probably feel like you can't, like, there's just a void that you can't fill. Because you feel it and it's just not filled normally. Because you actually get filled, the void gets filled by the process, not the attainment of the goal. So that's, again, back to the point, it's very important that you pick the right goal. And yeah, man, living in a city, like, it really only offers you very small amounts of like goals, and they don't diverse much.
You know, I agree with you to an extent. I agree with you in the sense of so what you're saying about in the city, like yeah, cities are very in a way they're built off of capitalism and of like the reason why so many people are attracted is because of like all the trade that occurs in cities basically, right? But then I would say I would argue that I guess it also depends on your perspective, and I do feel like you can choose.
So I was just double checking the mic, so
That's cool, bro.
because we almost had like, I don't know how long we're doing it for, maybe like 2 hours. The mic tends to
Shit, we're
die.
going 2 hours already. Fuck.
What time is it?
5:40.
There we go.
I do feel like one can decide whether or not you let the materialistic element become the primary or like the secondary behind the scenes element.
Yeah,
and I say
yeah,
that because I do feel like you're gonna always need some focus on money in order to live in the city. So there's always gonna be like a certain level of chase there, and whether it's on 10% or 100%, like you can more or less choose. But I do feel like there's a lot of beauty to also see within the city in the sense of like this is where so many people gather and where so many people are kind of perfecting their art. So like you can meet so many like creatives here from so many different backgrounds, so many different routes. Obviously, as I said, like you can choose whether it's primary or secondary, and like there's a lot of creators out there that might be doing it more for the money or like for what they genuinely want to do. So in a way, I do feel like I say this to kind of summarize in saying that like I feel like the like you know how the saying goes, and that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and I do feel like you can choose to manipulate your perspective to kind of like suit you in ways, and I feel like it's just down to the individual to choose how they want to see it, because you can really like for example, if you're into music or if you're into painting or whatever it is, like you can go to so many clubs out there and you can learn to do so many things and whatever. And I feel like the city offers you a lot of opportunities, not just materialistically, but just so many senses. Like today, I could, like, if I wanted to, I could probably go learn how to. I don't know. Go learn how. I could sign up for a piloting course. I could sign up to learn to dance. I could go to a salsa class. Like, and the city has a lot of beauty in this variety and depth that it has to offer.
Yeah. You can really, like, there's always something to extrapolate from where you're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and you're right, bro. You can be the dictator of your perception on things. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to buy into the whole capitalist thing. You don't have to buy into the whole, like, finance first, everything else second. You don't have to. But the issue of humans is that, like, we end up becoming products of our environment. So no matter how much you try to do that in a place like this, it will be very tough. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if that's what you want, be here, bro, because that's what it's gonna give you. You know what I mean? And if you find happiness enjoying that, do it, bro. You know what I mean? But it just doesn't work for everyone.
No.
So I think you need to figure out first what it is that you want. Listen to that voice inside of you. You know what I mean? Figure out first what it is that you actually want or what's meant for you, and then by then you take the right measures to put yourself in places that you need to be in. And if what you want is to be, for example, outside of that capitalist nonsense and, like, outside of a big city because you want to be in nature and because you just want to do things a lot differently, like, what good does it do you putting yourself in a place like this? No matter how much you try to skew your view or how much you try to, like, like, dictate your perception on things, like, in a place like this, there's only so far you can go doing that. You probably thrive better in a different environment. You know what I'm saying? You just got to figure out what's for you, though, man.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out what's
like,
for you. You just got to figure out.
Different depending on who you are.
Man, that's it. So everything's just tailored to the individual, man. You just got to make sure you're putting yourself in the right places. That's it. You know what I mean?
I agree, bro. I agree. But then, I think with you, so I was thinking so recently, like, when we were at your uncle's house and everything, I was just thinking, I feel like you have a bit of a bias towards living in Thailand, and I feel like, and that's fine, obviously. That's
not just it, bro. I want to be in Colombia too.
Yeah, okay, but but you'd probably, if you had to pick one of the two, you'd probably go probably Thailand. And family is probably the main attraction that draws you to Colombia. But then aside from that, it's like, if you remove that in terms of what place, like, down to the score, which one would you want to be at? I'd say probably Thailand, because of the way you've spoken on it and etc. And you've been in Colombia before, and that.
Here's the thing, though, man. I've gone Colombia and I've never actually, like, experienced the country for myself, bro.
Fair enough. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Every time I go there, it's always like, not to say it's a bad thing, but I'm just always with the family. And like the one time that I went there, and it was and I was by myself there for a week. I went to La Virginia by myself, bro, yeah, because I wanted to be with, like, my cousins and stuff, and I just wanted to go do my own thing. But I got taken out of there. My mum sent my uncle to go pick me up, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. She was just like, why are you out there by yourself? Like, it's not safe, it's dangerous, this and that.
Even though you're a family. Interesting.
Politics, innit? But, like, my point is that, like, bro, like, even when I had the opportunity to be out there by myself, I couldn't, fam.
To be fair, you're a bit younger back then. How old are you?
I was younger back then. At the time, I was like 18, 19.
You're a bit younger.
But even then, though, bro, you'd think that, like, at that age, you maybe have a bit more freedom. But my household wasn't really like that.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it wasn't really like that. You know what I mean? But now that I'm at this age, and not even just the sole fact that I'm at this age, but now that I wouldn't even let myself, like, be handled in that manner, yeah, I want to go experience the country for myself. Like, ideally, bro, what I'd love to do is land in Colombia, buy myself a 4x4, and just drive around the whole country and just go see everything. Do some, like, Top Gear road trip type thing. You know what I mean? That would be so lit, bro. And I feel like I would experience Colombia in such a good way that way. And, bro, you never know. I might fall in love with Colombia even more than with Thailand. But what really, like, really sold it to me in Thailand was the freedom. It's the freedom more than anything, bro.
But one thing that I do have for you in terms of Thailand, and this is why I say that, I feel like, and coming back to the whole kind of regret thing, I feel like it'd be best for you to kind of pounce on that kind of desire that you have of going to live there. It's because, to be fair, bro, like, once again, you know me, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. I just like to toy with realism or whatever it is. But is because I feel like you went out there on a holiday, right? So you didn't really have the kind of
The
like
same responsibilities and the same
exactly. You didn't have the. It's not really like you like bro. Like I can't. Like, I've been on many holidays, and when we get back here, I think holiday blues, uh, obviously it's probably heavily linked with weather too. But the fact that just on holiday, your freedom is insane. Like and you're able to. Like oftentimes you treat yourself, you're able to you give yourself pleasure of eating wherever you want to eat. You go out on nights out, you're normally with friends or whatever it is, and you're just like kind of just having a lot of fun, etc. Which is obviously like the other end of the spectrum to having to work and waking up early. And it's like, so I do feel like you might have a different experience as you're out there. Of course, I know that there's things that run true, as you said, the difference in the people and what the people are like out there, and obviously the landscape, etc. But I do feel like kind of the responsibilities. I feel like oftentimes are like the detriment of like experiences. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if London was free to live, as we spoke about before, and where you like obviously we ain't got the best of weather out here.
Yeah.
But then if that was the case, like if London wasn't really like the place it is, then people wouldn't even be coming here anyway. So weather might not even be an issue to begin with. You know what I'm saying? But like so anyway, turning it back to my point originally is that I feel like it'd be best to speak once or like to reconvene and discuss the topic or whatever it is once you've had your experience in Thailand, like as an individual that lives out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you're able to kind of like to basically speak on that a bit better. And then we'd be able to kind of find out, okay, like how different is it compared to what you actually thought
what I expected?
Yeah,
for sure, man. But again, like, I'll never know until I try it, bro. And I do want to try it, bro. I do want to try it. Whilst I was out there, I met people who like moved to Thailand to live there and like do the whole thing. And I don't know, bro. To me, it just seemed like they were doing perfectly fine, man. And like to me, it seemed like it's not a holiday. I understand it's not a holiday, but like it also didn't seem as though they were living a bad life. And it also didn't seem as though like they were doing much worse. I met people. I met a couple out there, yeah, broke, no money. This was Cambodia, broke, bro, no money. Like they, I don't know. They just they were living there. You know what I mean? And I was speaking to them, and they were just like, bro, like we've been broke in where we was from. I think it was Italy, and we've been broke like here in Cambodia. And if I had to tell you, I'd rather choose to be being broke. I'm staying here, bro. You know what I mean?
Okay, but that's like less of the two evils type of situation.
Yeah. But like, they still live a good life though. So even if shit doesn't work out and you're left with the bare minimum, how bad can that be? As opposed to like shit not working out here and being left with the bare minimum over here, bro.
But then
you know what I mean? But I understand it's not what you went over there to do. I get it. I do get it. But at the same time, again, bro, I will never find out until I try. And I think, not to say that I know what the flip side of the coin is when you go to a country to live and not to be on holiday. I don't, bro. I don't know what it's like. But I have a rough idea. But at the same time, I don't even want to like conceptualize that idea too tough. Because then I remove the whole adventure of like what lies ahead of me. I don't want to know too tough, bro. I just want to get there and find out.
Okay. I'll stop with the Debbie Danners then.
Man, trying to shit on my parade, man. You know what I mean? No, I'm joking. No, but it's good. It's good to speak about these things, and I think it's good to ask and it's good to be inquisitive because then, like, bro, sometimes there's questions you gotta answer before you even make the first step.
Because
you gotta be logical about these things. But again, that's why I've although it's something I want to achieve, I've given myself the requirements in order to the requirements to meet before I even get out there.
Okay.
Because if I don't meet those requirements, then bro, it will be a waste of time.
Okay, well that's good that you're being you're being diligent about it, and it's not just a complete.
It's not just like some
blind following the voice.
That's
it. Boom over there.
No, bro, like, I still have my requirements that I need to meet before I get there. You know what I mean? And if I don't meet those requirements, then going there might be a waste of time, and it might not be like not how I imagined it to be, but I don't see it working if I don't meet those requirements. You know what I'm saying?
Alright, cool. No, that's fine, bro. It's fine. It's just like just wondering about some of these things, and then like imagine like let's say you're not able to
even
to travel. Yeah, like literally, I was gonna say, bro, like man should live back and forth, but can you even get to the other place to begin with? Like that's and because bro, like let's be honest, like in Colombia, like, I'm saying it, and I'm saying this because I'm more acquainted with that perspective of trying to buy a ticket, like an international plane ticket, whilst living in Colombia, bro. That's like 3.5, 4 months of like net income, like without not even saved, bro. Like just net income that you have to pay on a flipping flight to come to like UK or whatever it is. So I assume it's not much different to go to Thailand or whatever it is. So it's like one, like living in those economies is like, all in those places is fine, but just the economy obviously will never be on par with here.
There's a lot of rich Thai people, bro. There is a
I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying like in terms of like the worst case scenario here, like bro, like more like you know what's so crazy? The worst case scenario here still has a lot of people, bro. Like you see people working like kind of like, I don't want to say bottom barrel jobs because that's rude, isn't it? But like jobs that are like not non-skilled, innit? Non-skilled jobs, like I don't know, you might see someone working at CAF, bro, and let's be honest, like that's non-skilled. You don't need any type of background for that. But then like they got like Balenciagas on and whatever. So it's I'm just.
But they're now living outside of their means.
They are. But it's going to show, bro. What if you pulled up in Africa, yeah, in most places in Africa, do you think anybody working a non-skilled job
is able to
afford balance? Like, bro, it's almost impossible. They would have to work for years and years and years saving up like 10, 20, 30% of the income in order to see that. So they wouldn't even do that to begin with. Whereas here, it's like the worst case scenario standard is very much different to what is over there. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm just making that comparison because when it comes to flights, it's like here, bro, like thankfully within like a month or two, depends on your situation, but like 1 month minimum wage here net where you get into your account should be enough to get you a flight to most places in the world.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. But again, it also depends on where you place your importance though, man. If you really like, if that's something that's really important to you, then fine, put yourself in a place like here so you can afford that. But if it's not,
no, but this is why I'm coming from the diligence angle of the fact that I wanna have a certain level of wealth attained.
So that you're just free to do anything, basically.
Yeah, like anything obviously is going to be a bit tough, especially like with decades and decades down the line. But at least accumulate a certain amount. Like in life, I believe that everything requires, like as we spoke about before that time, where if it's not here in Thailand or whatever, you're going to have to work anyways, right? You're going to have to give your time regardless to achieve whatever. Unless obviously, as you said, you're rich or whatever, you don't need to work for the money because you already got it. But so to me, it's like, well, I feel like here, within a much shorter period of time, I can attain what I could attain out there. Obviously, there's different arguments that come into play, and like how you feel when you are living and working, whatever. And that's a very fair point. But what I want to do is, well, what would be nice to do is get to a certain kind of level of income where now, like, let's just say I have an investment that's yielding me returns, so I'm not too dependent on kind of anything out there. But I feel like we've already kind of delved into this conversation before, so I'm not really trying to get too deep into it. But that's just a kind of like my take on why I feel like I need a certain level of comfort. In a way, I guess that's kind of been digged into me from living here. But yeah, because I'll be honest, bro, like I want to have the option of like, let's say I'm in Thailand, like, and I'm living there, and you know I'm not earning like the amount of money that I might be earning here. Like, let's say if I want to do like skydiving, I'm like, oh shit, like, I can't, like, I won't be like, oh shit, like I need to save up for X period of time or whatever. Like I can just kind of just do it if I want to do it. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like it helps. There's like, you can't deny that money will always have a certain level of dictating like certain things that you can do. Whether or not it impacts like the amount of fulfillment that you get from life is a different question. But for me, I'm someone, I feel like I'm very adventurous. I like to try loads of different views. I like to have experiences. So for me, that's why I feel like this kind of way of doing it works best for me.
Yeah. Oh man, if that's the case, bro, then don't stop, man. You know what I mean?
at least, yeah, well,
Don't stop. And at least you've been able to figure that out too. And at least you're able to know, and now you have like your set target, your set goal. It's something for you to aim towards and achieve. You know what I mean? And like I say, bro, it's all tailored to the individual. So if that's what really works for you, bro, then who is anybody to ever tell you different, bro?
And thankfully, my girls are moving out of the country as well. So, like, I'm not looking to live it forever. I'll tell you that as well, bro. I don't want to live it forever. I think the web
Who would you want to call?
That's a good question, bro. It depends. Like, things will depend on how things turn out to be. I think because of my girl, I obviously have to take her opinion into consideration. But I don't know. Like, she's definitely down to, because she's half Ugandan and half Dominican, and she wants to go Colombia for a little bit, and I think she wants to go Ghana for like 6 months to live or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, at some point, because she went last year. Last year she went in December 2022. She went, and like, because Ghana's apparently it's lit out there.
Is it?
So she wants to go back because she really loved it, and she wants to live out there. And obviously out there is like fairly cheap to live.
She's
like,
living out there.
I don't know about living. I definitely like, well, in the sense of, she wants to live there temporarily, not like full time.
Would you see yourself living there temporarily at least?
Temporarily, yeah. Like, if it's a thing where it's like 6 months, I could probably make that work. Like, that's not too bad. 6 months.
You've always like secretly just had African heritage.
I mean, that might explain the waves. I mean, I might explain that. But like, as I said, bro, I'm someone that's just down to explore, and it's like, okay, like, Ghana, why not? Like, let's see what they're cooking. Let's see what they got.
I've always wanted to go travel Africa, man. Just the whole continent, just go see what it's saying. There's so much rich history out there, bro.
There is.
I really want to go see
there
that stuff.
But it's like, you know, it's a big shame, bro. Unlike Asia, I feel like, even Asia, you have to be careful about the whole of Asia. But certain places in Asia, it's quite safe to travel in, like Vietnam, Cambodia, all of that. Thailand.
No, not Cambodia as much, but yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. But like relative to a lot of other places in Africa, in South America, I feel like it's probably...
Do you actually think Africa's like that?
It depends on where. Okay, it obviously depends on where, innit, bro? Somalia, you must have a death wish. Like,
no, of course,
I'm not even telling you.
There's certain areas that you know that, like, bro, why even going there in the first place? You know what I mean? There's areas you know, but like, I feel like for the vast majority of it, though, man, I genuinely do feel like it's probably going to be such a different and banging experience that you could have never imagined. I reckon you get there and it's like, whoa, this is not what I expected. Because, bro, I had that experience when I first landed in like Thailand.
What experience? Oh, like that,
people were just like, yo, be careful out there, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just, like, look out for your stuff and like, hold tight, and like, don't eat food in the food markets, bro, because it's dirty. But every day I ate out in the food markets, bro. Like, man,
luckily, he had that poor man's stomach.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, literally, bro. And I'm not saying that like I was able to just be so free and liberal with all my stuff, but like, bro, I was never worried that like at any point I was ever gonna, I don't know, get robbed for my stuff. Maybe at one time I had one little altercation, with a Thai national, because we was playing football, bro. And like with football, you get a dirty challenge every now and again, and I must have gone into one. I didn't even go into one of the guys, bro. Trying to avoid a challenge, I stepped out of the way and bumped into him, and he got bare arsey about it. And like, that was probably the only thing that I could say was like, at one point where I was like, okay, cool, maybe I gotta be careful a little bit. You know what I mean? But other than that, bro, I was shocked by how different it was to what people described it to be. And I genuinely believe and I genuinely feel that the vast majority of the African continent is like that, bro. I genuinely think that, like, yeah, fair enough, there's hot spots, but bro, there's hot spots everywhere, man. Come to London, bro. Go step in, like, I don't know, go step in Kenton, go step in Stratford for a while, go step into, like, I don't know, somewhere in West London.
Let's be honest, bro. It is different. You can't like compare
yeah, but like my point is that there's hot spots everywhere, bro. But I think what you actually find is that the people out there are probably that little bit more nicer than what they are here. In general, people with less tend to give more.
Funny concept that, yeah, it is true. But then there's also, with desperation comes like more crime. Let's be honest, like which is why.
Yeah, facts. I don't disagree with you.
you have like which is
The crime over there is probably a lot more horrendous. Oh, I say that. I say that, but like here it's terrible. But imagine yesterday I was filming a podcast with Francois. Yeah, halfway through the podcast, 2 batches of kids just in the park, like running at each other and just start fighting, bro.
Serious.
Yeah, halfway through the podcast, bro.
Well, what have you got in the background? Or you, like...
I don't know if it might be in the background, to be fair, but the background's blurred out because it's shot cinematic. You know what I mean, bro? It's stylish. No, but bro, honestly, bro, like halfway through the podcast, just like 2 groups of kids, and then like 2 of them just like, ran up on each other and started fighting. I think it was 2 girls, man. Yeah, man.
Right, what park was this?
Tabard Park, literally just like around the corner, not too far.
That's how I always South London.
Man. You know what? You grew up in North London. Tell me North London wasn't just as bad. North London, bro.
North
I can't like Edmonton and like, yeah. Edmonton and Tottenham and that, bro. I don't know about those places there.
No, I mean, not everywhere has its places, but I do feel like
Stoke Newton too, bro. I remember Seb telling me some stories about Stoke Newton.
It's Big Seb.
Carver Howe, yeah, man.
I mean, everywhere has its.
But I think there's a lot of places in London that just like. But I'll be honest with you though, the first time I ever saw any type of shooting, South London, bro, Brixton.
Not surprised.
Not even in Colombia, bro.
But in Colombia, it's like it happens, but like it happens more in the right place. Yeah, that's the thing.
But that's like everything. But bro, the first ever time I ever saw anyone firing shots, bro, Brixton, South London.
I don't think I've ever seen. Well, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen shots being fired ever. If I'm honest with you, heard. I don't. To my knowledge, I don't know that I've heard shots being fired.
And twice, not just once, twice.
What by main Brixton?
Nah, so you know where I used to live,
in Stockholm.
No, not I didn't live in Stockholm. I lived in Brixton. Well, it was like kind of Brixton.
When I was
in Max, next to the park.
Oh, wait, that's technically Brixton. I thought that was.
Yeah. It's on Brixton Road, isn't it?
Oh.
So it's like in between Brixton and Oval.
Right. Oh, okay. So, but that's classed as Brixton then?
I think so. Yeah. I don't rep gang, bro. Anyways, yeah. Twice, bro. Twice in that park.
You saw like shots being twice in that park?
Yeah, 2 different occasions. One of them I didn't see it, but I just got home from work, and then I was at home, and then you just hear bang, bang, and then everyone starts screaming. Shine was in the park with like her niece and stuff, and they just all come running upstairs. Well, I think I ran down, and then we all came back upstairs together. But then the second time I was baking off in the room, bro. And then like I'm hearing people outside playing basketball. I look outside my window, bro, and like some youth just like starts letting off shots, bro. Bang, bang. All the people in the basketball court start like running and shit. And then some kid got behind. You know how there's like the concrete long blocks that people can sit on and stuff. He's all behind the block and he gets up. He's like, bow, bow. Gets down, gets up again and starts running. Bro, it's crazy, bro. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, man.
Nuts. That's probably like a Tuesday afternoon in Brixton, fam.
Yeah,
any of it, it's just another day.
I was just baking off in the room watching that Netflix or whatever. Yeah, bro.
It's crazy, bro. I've like, fam, in my time in like, and I used to go park a lot, like near enough every day at one point, next to Wood Green, Turnback Lane, and there I never saw shots let off like that. Like I didn't see like stabbing. Like there's certain places where obviously like, a bit of a they can be hotspots in ways, but I just like the reason why I feel like it's a lot different is out here is because it's like here it's like more time you'll get targeted either if you're just like
if you fit the description,
if you're, like okay, so if you fit the description in terms of what they're looking for, like let's say like you're a young kid, like if you're a young kid, typically you'll get targeted by other young kids or maybe even adults if they have no morals. And secondly, if you're flexing, like I feel like that's like the 2 kind of main reasons why. Or like you're repping. Sorry, final one. If you're if you fit the description, but I guess that comes under if you fit the description as well, and if you're repping.
No, but even then, you might fit the description, not be repping gang, and still get targeted, bro. I had a brethren who don't rep gang, fits the description, and you got stabbed.
It could have been a mix. But okay, fair enough. Like it does happen. But normally it tends to be that. Like in the vast majority of cases, it tends to be that they like if they see someone that they want to duck down, and that's the case, isn't it?
Yeah.
But out there, like in a lot of places, bro, it's just like that desperation is the driver of like violence.
No, for sure, for sure.
Like, which is why I say, as I said before, here our baseline's quite cushy, which is why I don't feel like it gets as like it ever gets as gritty as it could, or as it does get out in those places in like Colombia or like in
out there. I think out there it does get a bit more gritty.
Yeah, because it's like your life is literally on the line. Like if you don't do whatever, like bro, like sicarios in Colombia, like they're getting paid the equivalent of like 30, 40, 50 pounds more, maybe. Well, therefore in pounds, that's even like, bro, that's like 5 jobs, fam.
They get a full chicken at Nando's and they're going to do the job for you,
bro, for the price of knocking someone down. Like, you know how crazy that is, bro. Like here it's not like, oh yeah, like let me give you a tenner, go bun this guy. Like just like they'll be like, bro, a tenner to catch your body. Are you fucking crazy? Like I'm risking 25. No, like
over there, Twix bar knock on his door, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Buñuelo, fam. That's it.
Pero con el buñuelito y la empanada, bro, do anything, bro. You know what I'm saying?
How many men you want?
Yeah, trust.
But yeah, so that's why I say out there, because of that being the case, because of the desperation factor, I think it's much worse, bro. Like the violence out there. Whereas here, it's not as bad. Like it's not like I need to put food on the table, or whatever. It might just be because I'm young and naive, and this guy thinks he's bad and he's on the other side, and he's trying to fight my people, or because I want to buy this and that, and I need X to buy this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Here it's just a bit more like it's not fueled by the same level of desperation or the same level of like.
I think it's fueled by different things here, though, man. Because here I don't think people like rep gang out of desperation. Because
no,
you have the choice, bro. I really believe, like, if you're in London, you have the choice. Like, if you need money, bro, go work.
Yeah,
you don't need qualifications to put yourself in a restaurant or to like get in a cafe, for example, like we mentioned earlier. And if you want to go buy a Balenci's, bro, save up a little bit, save up for 2 months, and go get your Balenci's, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be humble. So I don't think that level of crime and violence here is fueled by desperation. Maybe it's fueled by other things, isn't it?
No, because here that's the beauty about the city, bro. There's always an alternative. Back in some places in a village, it's like, bro, you're either like a farmer or you work in like providing services, like let's say, like, I don't know, as like a waiter or whatever it is. Yeah. Or, and then this is the thing, like that back there, it's like, bro, like, because of the lack of opportunity, like there is so much more, the option of being, I don't know, criminal or malandro or whatever it is, like, it's so much more of like a enticing option to take, because over there it's like either I'm a farmer or I do this or I do that, but typically those opportunities ain't yielding like high results in it. Whereas you might see the gangsters and the drug dealers and whatever.
Think that's a lot better for me. Or like, it's more enticing.
Yeah, because of the money element behind it. Like these guys typically tend to make.
But this is the scary thing about money, though. Sometimes money can drive people to doing these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, and that's the core reason why a lot of people turn into, like, not the only reason, but one of the big core reasons why a lot of guys here trap, for example, because it's like, and especially when certain guys get to a certain point where they trap and they're making X amount, it's like, how are they even gonna turn back and like what they got is trapping? They can't put down their CV, they can't go and like kind of go into a line of work where they'll be making the equivalent of what they were making in trapping. So that's like, you see what I'm saying? Like that's why it both entices a lot of people and retains a lot of people the life of what's it called? Delinquent. Literally the word I was looking for. Whereas like here, like as I said, bro, like see, has so many opportunities. I can go learn to do construction. I can go do a course on finance. I can go learn how to code. Like there's so many things I can do, bro.
Pick your poison, innit? No,
Literally.
Facts.
Literally, fam.
Alright, man. Well, I think call it a day there, bro. But you just want to cut off that quickly? I was gonna give you a little few words, bro.
Go ahead, bro. I'm just shaking.
No, man. No, I think we got an interesting conversation today, man.
Yeah, I don't think
we never did. I don't know. I never really have anything planned when I talk to people like that. But yeah, man. I'm moved by how open-minded you are and how much you like think outside of the box, or how much you actually question things, and how I said this to Francois yesterday, because these are the kind of people that I enjoy speaking to, bro. I enjoy speaking to people like yourself and her and a few other brethren that are like-minded, because y'all think for yourselves, bro, and you lot form your own opinions based off of your own experiences. But on top of that, it's the analysis of the experience and what you gain from that experience that you base a lot of your like views on, and like your values, or like maybe just the way that you are. You know what I mean? And I think you're one of those people that don't ever let people tell you what to think. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for sure, bro.
You know what I mean? So
Nah.
I feel like every time I have a conversation with you, you squeeze the lemon juice out the lemons, bro. You know what I mean?
Bro, we have to make those lemons work for us eventually, mate.
That's it, man, bro. That's it. But yeah, man, bro, grateful and I'm humbled to have you here always, bro.
Likewise, man.
And you're always welcome to come back again, bro. We'll chop it up again. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for sure, bro. We might even have to do a little Zoom link up as you're suggesting. You know, I saw Tyler.
We cannot get together, bro. Like, we cannot organize nothing. It's terrible, bro. So yeah, man, might feel it. Zoom link up next one. Stupid.
Yeah, no, that's cool, bro. As long as we can record and the people's ears can be blessed.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I'd like to say I'm glad to see that you're on, like, I'd say you're fairly open-minded too. I'd like to say, like, it's good that you have your dreams and that you want to chase them, and like, or your mentality even. Like, it's good that you have your own individual mentality, and that you're very willing to kind of like follow up in it and kind of like chase up on your interests and your intrigues. Let's put it that way. But yeah, man, like it's good to see. It's refreshing to see like someone that has like a different opinion compared to like most people that live here. And it gives me more scope. It allows me to benefit more from like seeing your point of view, because I do like to think that as you said, I do like to think that I'm open-minded. I'll never tell anyone, oh, you shouldn't do that. I always give people I always tell people what I think is the truth or how I see things. But at the same time, it's like if I see that someone really wants to do something, then mate, like you should go and do what you want and then see how it goes for you. Innit?
Yeah, man. But now I'm glad that like we can both bounce off each other, and you can take some things from me, I can take some things from you. I think that's the most important. That's what having friends is for.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, bro. Come on, man. Appreciate it, my dog.
Come on, man. Hey, it's free time though, because I'm getting cold. I'm getting hungry.